Journey to Savage the Planet is a first-person adventure game where you explore a planet full of mysterious creatures and organisms. I'll be reviewing this game. Since this is a review, I'll be covering the pros and cons of this game, and at the end of the video, I'll give it a score out of 10. 1 being very bad, and you shouldn't buy this game, and 10 being the best game ever. So let's start with the pros first. One of the best things about this game is the world building. Now, this isn't great world building, but it's good world building. If you want to see masterful world building, then I would recommend playing Death Stranding. One of the reasons why it's good world building is because of this one tool where you can scam objects with it. And it will give you tiny bits of information about the selected object. And when you're on the ship, you will sometimes get video logs, messages, and reports about this planet, or your home planet. Another thing I like this game is the design. The design fits the game well, since the game kind of reminds me of a cartoony aesthetic from the 90s. It just feels right for this type of game. And how sorry, my bad. And it helps develop atmosphere for this game. And the final compliment I can give this game is it lives up to my expectations. In the last 3 hours, I'm not counting the time it took to beat the final boss, but those last 3 hours were enjoyable. And that's really about it for the pros section. So, up next is the cons. The biggest problem I had with this game is it's one giant fetch quest. And by that I mean you get one item to progress the story, but once you get that item, immediately after, you have to get another item to progress the story. It's the same shit over and over again. Luckily I didn't get that in the last 4 hours of the game. But boy, was it grueling and just plain awful to do that. And it wasn't even fun either. All you had to do was get a sample for a specific item, then go collect materials to craft that specific item, then go back, rinse and repeat. Does that sound like fun to you? No. It doesn't. Another flaw with this game is the humor. What makes you laugh is subjective, I get that. But every time I died, I would hear the robot, same dialogue. I would just hear that same dialogue from the robot, and it was horrible to listen to as well after the 10th time. I think I moaned after hearing that dreaded voice again. And then they couldn't spare another hour or two just getting more lines in there because people are probably gonna hate that after the 10th play. A good example of one-liners done well is in Resident Evil 7, when you're getting chased by Jack. Never once did I hear a repeated line of dialogue, and that surprised me, and I applauded the game for that. Now, probably the last thing I didn't like about this game is the boss fights. The boss fights aren't supposed... My bad. Boss fights aren't supposed to be forgettable, unless they've been done wrong. A good example of a boss fight that I can remember is in Batman Arkham City, where you had to fight Mr. Freeze. And the reason why I loved it so much is because you had to find different ways of taking them down instead of doing the same thing over and over again, rinse and repeat. And sadly, that's what this game does. You fight him, die, you learn the pattern, rinse, repeat. Does that sound fun to you? In conclusion, Journey to Savage Planet isn't a bad game. I just think it kind of missed the mark for me. I don't think it's worth $56 at all. In fact, I think it should be $15 to $16 because that's how most indie games should be, unless it's a game like Outlast, where, for example, there's good everything. 10 hours of gameplay isn't enough for this game. So I'm giving this game a 5.5 out of 10. It was good, but not that great. Now, for the Savage Planet devs watching, this is nothing. I don't hate your game. I am giving your game criticism, so for the next game that you may publish, or a sequel to this game that you may publish, is going to be even better. I feel like you played it kind of safe with this game, and that's what I kind of don't like. If you guys need to kind of go into it and take that risk, instead of just being like, oh, we're just gonna play it a bit safe. How about fetch this thing from this guy's eyeball? You know, oh wait, you completed that? Oh well, you have to get this other thing now, and do the same thing over and over again. It What I kind of wanted from this game was just like no restrictions, kind of like a Subnautica type experience, you know, what I mean, because Subnautica was a game that I really liked, and the reason why I like it is there was no hand holding in this game. But in this game, there's so much restriction in this game that I can't like it as much. If there wasn't as much restriction and guys took a risk of like playing it safe, well, not playing it safe, then I probably would have gave this game an 8. It would have been really good. I would have called this an indie gem, but it's just another indie game that I find to be alright, or just okay. I wouldn't really recommend it to a friend of mine or anything, because they would find it boring as shit. There was times that I just wanted to, like, not play the game, because it was so boring. And if I wasn't streaming this, and I was playing this on my own, I would have, like, stopped after, like, 5 hours, and, like, never returned to the game. But since I was streaming it, I couldn't just do that, so I had to finish the game. So, Savage Planet devs, if you're thinking of releasing a game, take my criticism, take my advice from this game, or don't. I will be keeping up with your, projects. I'm just gonna say this once though, that you didn't really hit it for me, but I know that the other people really like this game. Like giving it 9s and 8s. I'm not one of those people. I play games for fun. I find your game like really fun. I didn't enjoy it. It's just that yeah. So that's about it. Yeah, I'm giving this game a 5.5 out of 10. That's it. See you later.